For instance, there's the partnership that we just announced again for 2023 with Afrif. And one of the examples that I shared there is that you can, feed a script into, ChatGPT or Bard or whatever you use, right? And then go from script to storyboard to shooting in a matter of hours instead of months, right? But then if you try to do that with AI over a 3G connection or even, 4G, you may not get the same kind of result as efficiently or as quickly.
Hello guys, my name is Emmanuel and welcome to Techpoint Africa's Unscripted program. So 1 year ago, I came to the MTN office in Lagos, Nigeria, and we tried to explain everything you need to know about 5G technology, that technology that is revolutionary and connectivity network that is faster than you can blink. And yeah, there was a lot of hype around it. And today, 1 year later or over a year later, I'm back again to address some points. Number one, how has MTN Nigeria's 5G performed in the last 1 year? The coverage, the population, the speeds. Yeah, we want to know, it's like a report card. Then we'll move further because there's competition now. So we'll plan to know how MTN plans to beat the competition. And finally, wait to the end. We're going to address some things about your future in this age of connectivity and if you will still have a job by this time next year. So yeah, thank you for joining us. So we're moving to the main show. Thank you so much, Adia, for joining us once again.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, so Adia Sowho is the Chief Marketing Officer of MTN Nigeria, and she was gracious enough to join us last year. And this year again, we're having another competition, a little bit of buzzwords, hopefully, not as because you wiped the floor with me.
Yes, you will not survive. Your survival is not guaranteed, Emmanuel.
Oh, cool. Let's see how it works. So let's dive into things, right?
Yep.
So the report card from the last 1 year. So I saw that MTN now covers 7.5% coverage of 5G technology. And I find that interesting, and I'd like you to tell me a bit more about what it took you guys to get there and what the strategy was, as much as you can reveal in public, of course. And yeah, let's start with that.
Okay, so we cover just under 10% of the population, like you said. And what does it take? It takes investment, right? I think as at the time of launch, part of the government's requirement for our license is that we are in each of the 6 geopolitical zones, which we are. So we just continue from there and just continue to expand coverage. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. We're still nationwide. We've still got the biggest and highest quality footprint of 5G in Nigeria.
Okay, so far so good. Has everything met your expectations? The adoption, Have people in Nigeria, have Nigerians taken to 5G technology in the way you would expect? So far, so good.
The short answer is yes, but there's definitely still a lot more to come. So I think definitely the early adopters, the people that could feel the pain of the problems that 5G solves, that friction and frustration, maybe people like content creators, particular heavy data users, people that are already exchanging large amounts of data over the internet, gamers, right? They definitely got it and they adopted right away. And I think it has taken us a while. Like we spent most of this past year just trying to get more and more handsets 5G capable. Remember last year we launched with routers, so the routers have been good. So 5G at home has been a wonderful experience. But then, over time, I think we added iPhones, and now we started to add more and more Android devices. So as we've added the devices, we've seen every time we've just sort of launched a new maker model, we've crossed a new threshold of usage. But I think, like I said, the early adopters, the people that are fastest to upgrade software on their phones, are the people that get access to 5G. So for many, you may actually already have access to 5G and you don't know it. If you're one of those people that just leaves your software upgrades until the absolute last possible moment, right? So there are a few people, if you're listening or if you're watching, please can you just update the software on your phone? You probably have 5G capable on your phone already. No, not regardless of the phone. The phone, first of all, has to be 5G capable.
Okay.
But then I think beyond sort of the hardware, there is the software element. So for instance, you have to be on iOS 16 you know, to access 5G. If you're not on iOS 16, so if you haven't upgraded your phone in a year, you won't have 5G, even if you're sitting in a 5G area.
Okay, well, thank you for mentioning this, because funny I still see people asking if they need to change their SIM to get 5G.
So you don't need to change your SIM.
Okay.
If you have a 5G capable phone, you just need to do the regular software update that your handset manufacturer pushes to your phone. So you've got to make sure you're on the latest. So depending on when, you know, your handset, was upgraded, right? The software on your handset was upgraded, right? So we just say, just stay up to date.
Okay, that's interesting. So going forward, what demographic are you going to be targeting for your 5G rollout?
Well, I mean, MTN is everywhere you go, so we're not really trying to be selective. But I mean, there are a couple of ways that 5G can find you, right? If you have a 5G capable phone, if you can afford one, or you have one now, or you plan to buy one soon through one of our many device financing programs, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, right? You know, you can get access to 5G on your phone. But what we're doing now is we're also working with organizations like Seplat and Bayes University. We've signed MOUs with both of those. So 5G can then make its way to other people, right? So you can start to interface or just interact with institutions that are 5G enabled, right? So I mean, you don't have to have a 5G phone in your hand to have a 5G experience. So we're gradually going to be rolling those out now in the future.
Okay, so like I'm quickly running through all of this because there are heavier stuff down the road. But in the last 1 year, we've had competition in the 5G space, and I guess the question is, what is MTN's strategic advantage? And not just even 5G, even outside of 5G, there's these guys with satellites and a bunch of them. So what is MTN's strategy? Why should I choose MTN over any other?
Well, I mean, congrats to everyone that considers themselves competitors.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm congratulating people. What's up? So look, it's not easy to be who we are. I mean, we take being number one very seriously. So the level of investment we've made, the commitment to the rollout, you know, the commitment to marketing and educating Nigerians about 5G. I think that hands down, I don't think anybody has done more than we have. Yes, there have been entrants into the market, you know, but it's not easy to deliver the 5G speeds to consumers in Nigeria. It's really, really not. And we continue to press forward our commitment, right, to giving Nigerians the coverage and the level of service that we want. I mean, look, in terms of quality, you know, we were the first, and we tried to stay at the very top of that quality curve by all measures possible. So we plan to stay there.
Okay. Quite interesting. So you spoke about investing a lot, and I know, this is like where things are going to get a little bit tricky, because I know most of the equipment that is used are not sourced locally. They're sourced from abroad. And in the last 1 year, we've had significant inflation, significant forex crisis, significant everything, right? My people call it SACPA in new dimensions, right? So, and I'm sure this must have affected everybody, not even just MTN. So how is MTN able to maintain that level of investment, even with all the FX headwinds, inflation, and all of that?
I mean, we're not alone now. We're all experiencing it together. MTN Nigeria is a Nigerian company, you know, run by mostly Nigerians, led by a Nigerian team. So each of us is experiencing this thing along with Nigerians. But, you know, this isn't the first time Nigeria has experienced hardship, right? But we just, you know, we're resilient and we push through. So I think sometimes there may just be a pause while you try and figure out what to do, you know. But again, we have not slowed down or stopped our commitments. You just have to pause, reassess, and then keep moving forward.
Okay, so moving forward in the face of this, doesn't that throw, like, if 100 people could afford a 5G network a few months ago, how many of them are there now at this point in time? So can people, because discretionary spending, people are using whatever, whether it's Biro and paper, Excel sheets, to make sure that every expense is really necessary. I started paying for OpenAI's ChatGPT Plus when it was 15,000 naira. Now it's getting to 30,000 naira. And I'm questioning if I really need, do I really need GPT-4? I mean, come on. I'm a human, right?
What can 3.5 do?
Yes, exactly. So I'm just wondering how it plays into your rollout, your expansion. Like, can more people afford this? And does it make sense to keep investing even if the purchasing power is...
I mean, we do what we can. Like I said, this isn't sort of the first time, MTN has been in Nigeria now for more than 20 years. This isn't the first time we've seen or experienced hardship, economic hardship, along with the country, right? Because it's not like we're separate from the people that are experiencing this hardship. I think what we do is we just try to adjust our propositions just to make sure that they remain accessible to Nigerians. So I mentioned device financing, right? That's something that we're trying to get very innovative and creative with, right? So that just because somebody wants to move forward, all of a sudden they don't have to stop, right? You're still allowed to, make the kinds of upgrades you want to your life and to your smartphone, should you need it. And we're rolling out these device financing programs to make it easy. We're also trying to, tweak our propositions as well. So yeah, I think that what we are trying to do is really just adjust so that our propositions reflect the economic reality rather than trying to be, apart from it.
Okay, that's really interesting. Can you tell me more about the device financing program? Because typically these programs like this, they usually have high interest rates, people are not able to pay back and all of that. So yeah, just a few highlights about...
So we've partnered with a couple of companies, more to come, Mcopa, Integra, and interest rates are usually derived from the cost of capital. So they're not independent. They are determined by the cost of capital. And unfortunately, your baseline cost of capital in Nigeria is already high.
Yeah.
All right. So when you now determine interest rates for a program like this, it's based on that. So I think at the end of the day, if those interest rates go down, so will the rates on programs like this. So and that's why interest rates in Nigeria are generally considered high. It's because our cost of capital is generally high because it's a risky economic environment sometimes. So, but we understand that, and what we're trying to do is we're just understanding how the market reacts to this new innovative type of financing, is figure out who is best placed and how best to structure these things so that, people aren't put into an uncomfortable or bad situation, But at the end of the day, we're trying to put as many different devices and as many different price points, to make them available within the financing programs, and we're exploring.
Okay. That should be really good news for a lot of Nigerians out there. So we're talking about 5G-enabled smartphones, correct? And
4G and up.
4G.
Yep. Routers. Yep.
Routers. Oh, okay. There's also device
routers
financing.
coming soon, not yet.
Okay, coming soon. Okay, cool. That's quite interesting. So the challenges with investment in the space, referring to what specific challenges have you faced in rolling out 5G infrastructure, considering our current economic climate and everything we'll be talking about. So far, so good.
I think an enduring challenge we've had has been the vandalism of the network infrastructure. So I think there have been 50,000 incidents recorded by the NCC of vandalism on telecoms infrastructure. So I think the desire of the industry body is that telecom infrastructure is treated like a critical national
infrastructure
asset, so that it's defensible, and I guess there are consequences for damaging such infrastructure. But it's when there's vandalism, this affects the quality of service, and then everybody feels, quality of service, lapses, right? So I think that has been the enduring challenge that the telecom industry has faced, is just having the infrastructure, stay in place so that we can deliver the high quality of service that MTN believes Nigerians deserve.
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, this is directly tied to quality of service.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
I mean, these days, because people have seen me in association with MTN on one or two occasions, and they come and say, Emmanuel, these are your people, the network is terrible. What's going on? And I try to explain some of all these issues that's going on behind the scenes. But can you make it clear, like when you hear network is terrible or network is down, what exactly is going on behind the scenes, or what are the possibilities?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, possibilities. I like the way you put that, right? Because
Yeah.
it could be any number of things. I think, you can have issues from like the weather, or if someone is, digging a trench, you dig too deep, you know what I mean? Or sometimes the cell sites are actually just attacked, so that people get at the diesel, so that there are all kinds of possibilities there, and you can imagine if you have a cell site and then all of a sudden it doesn't have the diesel it was expected to have, then it powers off. You know what I mean? The cell site is down, service is different, right? If there's a fiber cut with us or with one of our partners, all of a sudden the internet speed slows down if you even have connectivity at all. Right, so there are all kinds of things, but basically once any part of the network is not doing what it's supposed to do, because it's not operating as it should, it directly impacts quality of service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that addresses a lot of the questions I see online, and yeah, I've seen some really, really unflattering comments about quality of service, and MTN is actually one of the better ones. So,
well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah. So, but long term, going forward, maybe not just long term, medium term, what is the vision for the 5G technology for MTN Nigeria? And in terms of the things it could power, in terms of what it could unlock, I think we talked about that last year.
Yeah.
But are there immediate, concrete objectives or goals that you're targeting? I
mean, our ambition 2025 strategy says it all. And we also want to support the policy direction from the Honorable Minister of Communications and the Digital Economy, right? So I think for us, that's how we shape our agenda, based on what our government wants, what our people want, and what we as a business want in line with MTN Group, right? So we do, what that means for us really, it really translates to connectivity leadership, data leadership, which is why we continue to take our 5G rollout and adoption very, very seriously. So yeah, that's what that means to us. So I think in the immediate term is to continue to provide the right level of service for 5G that we're looking for. I mean, so far so good. Like I said, the reception has been great. We have seen users embrace 5G. We have seen their usage increase significantly. We have seen users identify opportunities over 5G and just utilize them more than we expected. So we're very excited about the future prospects.
Oh, cool. So yeah, a lot of the new dispensation, there's been a lot of talk about innovation, digital economy, and all of that. So I'm wondering how MTN ties into, for example, some of the initiatives by the new Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. So are there strategic initiatives you're looking to tap into? And of course, 5G is going to power a lot of, there's a talk about AI, for instance, and 5G is going to be an important part of that. So I'd like to know how you're thinking about everything going on.
Well, I think as a business, we've met with the minister multiple times. We are aware of his goals on talent research and digital literacy, and we definitely, MTN definitely can shape out a very clear and important role there. But I think as that becomes clearer, it'll be announced in time. I don't have those to announce at the moment, but I think that 5G is fantastic because it pairs very well with emerging technology, AI specifically. So for instance, there's the partnership that we just announced again for 2023 with Afrik. And one of the examples that I shared there is that you can, feed a script into, ChatGPT or Bard or whatever you use, right? And then go from script to storyboard to shooting in a matter of hours instead of months, right? But then if you try to do that with AI over a 3G connection or even, 4G, you may not get the same kind of result as efficiently or as quickly, right? So it's just best to optimize and go for 5G. So for me, if you are talking about a situation where, rather than spending months racking your brains to write a script, then figuring out how to create a storyboard to lay out the movie, and then now figuring out how you're going to shoot. You literally can come up with your idea, quickly expand the story, and then you could be shooting in a day, you know, because there are some people that are creative enough where stories are just coming out of them, you know, all the time. So I think 5G, for instance, has the capacity to increase the throughput and the speed of production and the capacity of a whole industry if you just sit down and identify, you know, the right use cases. But like with any telecom technology, you don't necessarily launch the technology and the use cases show up immediately. We're in this early period of experimentation where everybody's trying to figure out, you know, how 5G can actually bring, you know, revolutionize their respective workflows or their respective industries. So I think it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, interesting. You should mention the creative industry. So for relevant to the African narrative, and we have our own core issues that we are facing. We are way lower in Maslow's hierarchy of needs and all of that. So what other use case can you actually point to? I mean, we talked about a few, but I would like us to reiterate some of all of it.
So if I could talk about a use case that I would like to personally see brought to life is language processing. If you look at the internet now, it's really written for people that can read and write.
Read and write in English.
In English. Right? English is still the primary language of the internet, regardless of, you know, other languages, right? But it's the primary language of the internet. But you know, are we going to get to a point where, you know, the 200 million Nigerians are predominantly educated? I don't know when we're going to do that, but until then, if we can, you know, have a voice-activated internet, that all of a sudden creates some very interesting opportunities. And then that voice-activated internet can now apply to any industry. It can apply to, you know, government institutions, banks, right? So anywhere you are interacting with people for whom there may be the tiniest language barrier, right? All of a sudden you have this opportunity to bring them into the digital economy. So it's a very interesting use case. But that's still one that I think, you know, it's still in the future. Near future, very near future even, but it's still in the future.
I see how it could be useful for companies working with, say, smallholder farmers in remote areas and all of that. Okay, that's quite interesting. Yeah. Okay, so talking about AI, and this was what I referred to at the beginning of the interview, where some people might not have a job by this time next year. And it's a concern for me, and I want you to help us clarify that concern. So, this is it. When I think I will make this example again. I've been making it so far so good. I'm sounding like a broken record. I think I should, but I think I need to make this example. So yes, at the time we're doing a lot of things manually. Then we created the assembly line, and thousands of jobs were created, and it made a lot of jobs obsolete. Then the computers came, made a lot of people obsolete, but created thousands of jobs. But now we have generative AI that is making even the most technically gifted people feel like, what am I doing with my life, right? If you're a writer, for instance, and someone who probably doesn't know much about writing and what good writing looks like, does not really see the value of a writer anymore, or an artist. You can ignore the weird fingers that come out when AI generates images for you. So my fear is this: innovation is moving faster than people can cope with. So before I go and learn React, AI has created an entire website for me. So how do we cope with this rapid phase? And 5G is going to be a big part of this rapid innovation that's going on. And we're just scratching the surface. We have not even started. So can you help us allay our fears?
I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
What did you study?
I studied philosophy and religions.
Okay. Do you consider yourself a journalist?
Yeah, to a large extent.
Okay. Well, you didn't study journalism.
No, I didn't.
20 years ago, I think to be a journalist, you had to have studied journalism, right? And Techpoint is a strictly digital publication.
Yeah.
You are considered a media house now. Where 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you probably were called charlatans. So it's interesting to see how you were part of somebody's story not so long ago where somebody said, that is going to take away my job. And here you are looking at generative AI, right? But what did you guys do? You were internet first. You were just an internet first publication. And this thing you're talking about, it happens with every single technology known to man. The person that is not the inventor of the technology or is yet to understand it or is yet to fully embrace it is first worried that it will deny them or take away from them. But what technology always does is it allows us to be more efficient and focus on more important things in life. I think we are in this period of fear with AI or generative AI particularly. But as I'm sure you know, it's garbage in, garbage out. You know what I mean? Generative, if you don't know what you're talking about, it will not give you a good output. So some credit still has to be given for people that understand what to say and how to say it and what good looks like, right? And over time that will become important. So you know, there are a bunch of examples I make. Like for instance, when planes first started flying, pilots were going to put sailors out of a job. So this whole conversation, it did not start with generative AI, and I've just shown you how you are part of somebody's obsolescence story, right? So I think the key thing though is to get better at learning and unlearning. I think that is going to be the skill of the future, the ability to repackage oneself and your skill sets, so that if technology changes, because whether we like it or not, I mean, just technology capacity is doubling every 18 months according to Moore's law, right? So in 18 months, we're going to be looking at another technology. So you've essentially got to put yourself in a position where no matter what the technology, what you know is critical and unchallenged, right?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So like there's people holding the camera here. AI can't do that. Not yet. Not in Nigeria. So that's going to take a while to replace those jobs. Right? So it's okay to look inwards and say, okay, what am I doing and how quickly can I be replaced? And how do I put myself where I am in charge of the technology or where the technology is looking to me to be the advisor? That's what I would say.
Wow. That's really, really insightful. Thank you so much.
You're
so
welcome.
people, you see, you might still have a job in the next 1 year if you follow all the things you just heard. So yeah, let's round this up.
Yeah.
Final thoughts you have on everything we've talked about or anything I've not talked about that you'd like to share with us or our audience, as it were.
No, I mean, thank you for, we were just so busy pushing users that I forgot that, 1 year in, it's good to take stock and just see how far we've gone. I'm very proud of the progress that we've made as MTN Nigeria to lead the market in 5G service and usage. And we're looking forward to helping Nigerians unlock the opportunities that 5G brings.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I saw in your Q3 report that data actually overtook voice.
Yes, that happened.
I don't think I need to go and write about that. I don't think anybody actually spotted that.
Yeah. Again, been very busy. We've been grinding, but yeah, that happened in July. Yeah. July,
wow.
August. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so in Q3.
So congratulations are in order, I guess. You've crossed
I think so. Yeah,
milestone.
Yes, we have. It's very important.
I remember writing about it 2020. Oh, voice is still king over data. And that. Even one of my reporters actually just wrote about it, and he still said, "Oh, data is still hot on his but I think we missed that. And yeah, I think. So is down to 5G or
We can't put it to one thing, but yeah, 5G definitely played its part.
Oh.
5G definitely played its part. But yeah, it's definitely a big milestone for the company, right? And like you said, we take being leaders in data very seriously, and it's things like that show that we're actually delivering on that promise.
All right. Thank you so much, Adia.
Thank you.
All right, people. Thank you for joining us today on Techpoint Unscripted. It's been an amazing session, and I hope you had a lot of interesting things to hear, read, or talk about in the future. So don't forget, like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching or listening to this. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course on YouTube, Instagram, anywhere you'll be watching this clip. Don't worry, just share with your friends, well-wishers, and even your enemies. Everybody needs 5G. All right, people. Bye-bye.